Thank you for checking out the Sportsline Podcast on the CHCH and Parrot Media platform. I'm Bubba O'Neill. Folks, we always have an appreciation for the number of outstanding athletes, executives, officials, and even particular sports that have been produced and or hail from Southern Ontario. Today we reintroduce a franchise that after a brief time away will be once again rocking right here in the Hammer.
Bushi, Matthews, Kirst on a bit of an island, trying to get underneath. He does. Rubish patrolling the low crease. Kirst still has it, shoots and scores! First goal of the game, first goal of his NLO career.
Well, with the closure of First Ontario Centre, the Rock were forced to find a home, and after some time away at Paramount Fine Food Centre in Mississauga, the National Lacrosse League has returned to the renamed and renovated TD Coliseum. And with their home opener creeping closer, let's say hello to President and General Manager Jamie Dawick and veteran player Challen Rogers. Great for you guys to be here and back in the Hammer. Jamie, guys, it's great to see you. Thanks for joining us on the podcast.
Thanks for having us, for
Thank
sure.
you.
Well, I got to start here. I mean, you guys got a brand new home, Prez. I'll start with you. It wasn't all that long ago, maybe a couple of years ago. I'll take it back even 3 years ago. I remember a press conference. You're wearing a COVID mask. Yeah. You're talking about plans and where you're going to go. But the Honey Badgers have departed. The Bulldogs, they were forced to find a home. But here you are, after all of that sort of what seemed to be controversy, the end is finally here.
Yeah, I mean, it's exciting because you're right. It's been a process, and you know, it went on for a long time. We didn't really know how it was all going to play out, and you know, it turns out that we were only out for last year, which, you know, it really was probably the best case scenario with all the renovations that have happened. And, you know, we were pretty vocal about, you know, this is where we want it to be and this is our home. And you know, we stuck by the facility, and, you know, we're super excited to now, you know, I know there's been a few shows in there, but, you know, be the first sporting event to play out of there in just over a week's time, and can't wait to show it off and see it for ourselves.
Does it feel good for you in a sense, too, that you can sort of, I mean, you're kind of not a vagrant, but you're in another place. You're in Mississauga, and thank goodness for them. There was a place for you to play. But, you know, I think you were kind of building on something in Hamilton, and now you really get to put your roots into the city and the area. You know, lacrosse is so big in this region.
Yeah, that was the toughest part of the whole thing, to be honest with you, is we had spent, you know, 3 years dealing with COVID and all that, but we'd spent 3 years kind of, you know, focused on the Hamilton and surrounding area, and building our footprint here, and then all of a sudden, you know, but no control of our own, you know, had to kind of leave for the year. And you know, I said all along, you know, it's not, we don't own the building, we can't control those things. You know, we're excited and happy to be part of the building, you know, with all the renovations that have taken place. I mean, but yeah, it didn't come without challenges, but it is what it is. And my kind of mentality the whole time was, you know, like, we'll just make the best out of whatever situation it is, because we can't control it. So no point in getting too worked up about it.
Challen, I mean, we talked about this off air, that there has been, you know, a home opener coming up next week, but there has been an ability for you guys to get down on the floor at TD Coliseum with a lovely new turf on the concrete.
Yeah, it was amazing to get down there. Obviously, just kind of, I went down with a teammate, and yeah, just had the opportunity to just kind of run around and test out the turf, and just walking into the building, it was special. Obviously, like Jamie was kind of alluding to, we were building something really special there, and just to kind of be in the building and see kind of the new everything, really. It was special, and it's just going to be even better having all our fans in there and having our first game.
Let's call a spade a spade. Look at Cops Coliseum. I keep calling it that. First Ontario Centre. It kind of reached the end a little bit in terms of its age, and that's just, again, it had a lot to do with age, but it's so premium in there. I had a little walk through myself there by myself, and just I'm walking and feeling that everything smells new and feels new and looks new, and even though there is a familiarity to what the building looks like, it does feel different, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, like it's funny you say that, because I was saying that kind of too. You know, the bones are still there, but you know, everything else is just completely new. And you know, it's a little dark in there, but I think especially with our turf in there, it just kind of makes it pop. And like you said, just a premium aspect to it. It's going to be completely different for everyone that experiences it.
And you are going to be the first sports team to show it off.
Yeah, not a big deal. It's gonna, yeah, it's gonna be great. You know, obviously after our last game, we didn't come on the winning end of it, and to find our first win at home in front of our fans, it's gonna be special.
Jamie, I got to get into one thing premium in terms of the NLL, and I was kind of following this along through the summer. How close were we to not having a season?
Yeah, I mean, it was that's a tough one to answer because I mean, there was a little bit of time left. It seemed like it wasn't moving along very well.
Sorry for those that I didn't say the CBA talks. Yeah,
I think there was a few moments later in the game where things were everyone kind of realized that we were hitting a point where, like, just logistically, you got to get something done. It's not like the season starts at the beginning of December and you can negotiate right up to December 1st and then turn around and play the next day. There's a lot of planning and booking of things that go into advance, well in advance of that stuff. So I think once everyone kind of realized all that kind of stuff and realized we were in jeopardy of maybe missing some time or worst case a season, I think everyone kind of focused a little bit, and luckily we were able to figure something out.
Had to be really good for you, and I say this with all due respect to your other ownership partners who maybe run other businesses, and I know you do as well too, but they run other businesses. I don't want to call them absentee owners, but they have other people doing things for them.
Yeah.
You are right there. You're the general manager. You're in touch with the players. I mean, there's probably friendships and bonds that have been there, and you've kind of got this player side and the owner side and the league side. It must have been a little stressful for you.
You know what? Honestly, one thing, so I do wear a lot of hats, as the owner, as the GM, and but it's never been an issue in Toronto. And honestly, it's 15 years. I think I've owned the team now. And maybe it's more about the kind of players we want around our facility and around our team and representing us, but. It's always been kept very, very good between, friendship and business and jobs and roles and we've been through 3 CBAs since I've owned the team, and I'd say my relationship with the players and stuff through all that's pretty good. Nothing really changes. I think it's a mutual respect thing between everyone, and they know I love them, and they know what I do for the league and the team, and they understand our position, and I got to understand their position as well. So it's a part of the business,
right?
Part of dealing with a union.
Yep.
My first experience dealing with a union when I bought the team, right. And it's a bit of a different world.
And Challen, for you as well too, on that sort of CBA business side of things too. At the end of the day, you're a player, right? And I know there is a union representing you and all that kind of stuff too. But at the end of the day, I could just, I'm guessing here that deep down in your heart, I just want to play lacrosse.
Yeah, no, it really kind of comes down to that, and especially kind of what Jamie touched on there, like the urgency that came as every day went by. At the end of the day, that's what we want to do. It's not our full-time job. It's something that we commit to and we do do kind of on the side of other things. And yeah, at the end of the day, that's what we all wanted to do, is just go out there and play. And ultimately, I'm super fired up. We have that opportunity to play, and that the CBA kind of went through.
Okay,
It would have been a disaster with the new arena and everything.
Oh yeah, that too, especially.
It would have been awful.
Yeah.
So we're very grateful.
Okay, no more CBA business talk. Okay, but I had to go through that because I was getting a little scared.
Yeah.
Let's get to on the field kind of stuff here, and I'm going to show you something that may irritate both of you. Let's put up this board here, guys. And Jamie, I know especially this is going to drive you nuts. I'm taking a look at the last 6 seasons, and there has been some really good seasons mixed in there. And I would always, I kind of use the word premium once again, that the Rock are one of the top clubs, franchises in all of the NLL. I see some playoff losses to the rivals down the QEW and the 190, but I don't see a championship. And Jamie, this has to be killing you.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough when you look at that. We've had, a great record in 5 of those 7 years, and the format of the league's changed a little bit. Before it was East-West, and East meant really us and Buffalo, and it has for the last 7-8 years until they changed the format. And unfortunately, we've come out on the wrong end of that. In all of those events. So I mean, it's part of sports. They're a great team. They have the best goalie in the game, and they've got a great roster. So I mean, we've always felt we've been right there with them. We've had some better regular season records than them. They've been great battles. The result has just ended up one lopsided in the last 5-7 years. In my first 5 years in the league, it was the exact opposite, really. So, I mean, things come. That's just the way it is now. They've been a great team. Yeah, it's tough. The format's changed, so you don't. In past, it was almost you had to go through Buffalo or Toronto to get to the final. Even just to get to the final, those are all, whereas now, you could not see them to a final, or one team could get eliminated without seeing them along the way. We're obviously coming off a very down year last year with all our injuries and our record, and, we're looking to just kind of get back to where we feel like we belong, and that stuff will all take care of itself. I know it's cliches and whatever, but streaks are made to be broken, and you got to have a good attitude about it and believe in what you're doing and trust in the process. And if you don't do all that, then you're not going to change the outcome. And it's been tough. They've had our number, but I would argue that they've also been the best team in our league for the last 5 years.
Fair.
So, they got a target on for us. I mean, they're our biggest rival. They have been forever, and there isn't much like a good Toronto Buffalo rivalry, and
no doubt.
It's just there. It'll never go away, and look forward to the next time we get to go with them.
Challen's got to, I mean, because again, you look at the teams that this man has put together and his staff, and the quality of the Rock that, with the exception of last year, as you said, down season, but for your entire, 6-7 years that you've been playing in the NLL, the Rock are one of the premier teams with expectations to win, and you've just keep falling a little short.
Yeah. I mean, I know those records, and just kind of seeing them in person, it hurts. But with every new year, it's just kind of new opportunity, right? And I think in years past, maybe we've kind of looked at the years past and kind of gone in with some high expectations. And I think even with this year, it's just we're a completely different team than we've been in the past, and with a whole lot of new opportunity to kind of have some new players step into some big roles. And the core group of our guys, we all know what we're fighting for. And you know, we've had some really good records, but you know, ultimately you're graded on your championships, and that's what we've always been striving for, and what we still continue to strive for. And that's just kind of with every session we're together, and with every game we're just trying to develop and get better and peak at the right time. You know, we're one game into the season, but you know, it doesn't really change every time we're together. There's new levels that we're trying to get to, and just kind of raise the standards for ourselves.
Develop was an interesting word that you've used there. Jamie, I look at some of the deals that you pulled together, and wow, I can't think of too many teams or franchises in all of sports that were able to sort of manipulate things through trades and, you know, getting rid of some veteran players that you were able to get number 1, 2, and 3 in the draft. And that's going to go a long way. Those are quality players that I see.
Yeah, I mean, listen, a lot of that's luck. When you know, we traded Rob Hellier, it was probably 3 or 4 years ago, to Las Vegas for 2 future first-round picks, which turned out last year to be Sam English, and then which was the 2nd overall pick, and then this year was the 1st overall pick. So obviously turned into CJ. We had our pick, which, you know, we don't normally want to be picking up at the number 2 in the draft, but, you know, that's how it went last year. And fortunately enough, we had our pick. And then the 3rd one was just kind of lucky, to be honest with you. I mean, when we traded for that pick, you know, there's hope that it was going to be a decent pick. And, you know, we were thinking at the time that, you know, they might miss the playoffs, could be a top 6 pick, you know, just the way things shook out. And with our pick, it turns out we had the top 3 picks. So, yeah, those 2 of the 3, CJ and Owen Hiltz, playing for us this year. Ty, who we drafted 2nd overall, has gone back to school for 1 more year. Who is Sammy's brother, who was drafted 2nd overall last year and went back to school for 1 more year and stepped into the lineup for us now. So, yeah, I think Chal said our team's very different. Those 3 alone are, you know, have big roles on our team already. Intentional, planned. They're a big part of the future of this team. And so for the guys like Chal and Latrell and Brad and, you know, Kreger and Billy, like the guys that have been around here for a while, I think it's been a nice little injection of high-end talent, younger talent, really. Like, we've never really, I mean, I joked with people that, like, we took Chal 2nd overall, and, like, that might be the only top 10 pick we've had in the 15 years I've owned this team.
Wow. That's true.
Because we traded a lot of them away. We always were trying to acquire proven players, and figured if we were picking so late in the draft, like, we weren't giving up, you know. So these, and I said to the team when I addressed them for the first time this year, like, you know, not putting any pressure on anyone, but this is a very significant moment for this franchise, because you know, you hope you don't get the opportunity to be drafting these studs at the top of the draft because you're winning and not drafting there. But you know, these guys are game changers for franchises, and you know, over the last couple years, you know, we've been able to really, in my opinion, kind of grab 4 of those guys, and only one of those was off of our true pick. So I think we got 1 more. You know, we still have another pick that we had traded for in the past with the Rosie deal coming. So, you know, this is it's kind of like, it's not a rebuild. It's kind of, you know, I feel like because of the 3 in a row and last, gives us a chance to kind of reload, hopefully,
right.
More than rebuild, and kind of continue to do what we've become accustomed to.
With your training camp and getting all these guys together, and obviously you need the good leadership, and that's not always leadership with the players, obviously with the coaching staff, and evaluation process happens at the end of every single year for players and coaches. And a little bit about your head coach and Sawyer, and of course, I couldn't believe, is there Dan Dawson? Officially an assistant coach or associate coach now? And a guy that, man, you guys hooked up on the field together.
Yeah. I mean, I remember when he joined the Rock, and I forget who I was talking to, but I was the captain at the time, and I was thinking, like, how do you captain, a guy who's won at every level, who's been the captain at every level, and that was my really first experience meeting Dan and like spending time with him, and just what an unbelievable person. His mind for the game is just, it's next level, and even when he was a player, he was still a coach in his own right, kind of with little things, where to shoot and things like that. But the insertion of him, leading our offense, it's been different, and it's been great. He's ultimately super prepared, and that trickles down to everyone else, and he's super calm on the bench as well, and that kind of goes a long way for some guys, in those high intense situations. He's that kind of calming force, always kind of pushing you forward and wanting you to be at your best at all times. But it's been a great addition to the group, and he hasn't really left since he's joined the team, whether he's player development, and
I don't think we could get rid of him if we wanted to.
Yeah. His kids are always at the track. He's ingrained himself at the track and in this organization, and it's just honored to kind of be with him and have him with us.
Because I saw, Jamie, he was working with some kids last year and doing that kind of stuff. And like you said, kind of hard to get rid of a guy like that too, but why would you want to?
Right. I mean, his role just keeps, and like Chal said, his role keeps evolving, whether it be with the team, the facility, our programming, really just he back to my comment earlier, he's the type of guy you want, representing the brand and continuing to, do what we're trying to do, and he's one of the real good ones.
Let's talk about what happened last week. Game number 1, 8-7 loss to the squad in Oshawa. And they put together a nice little rally at the end, and obviously there was a good crowd on hand. I think you got a new rival. Is that fair? It's fair to say. I know Buffalo is obviously the.
I know that's the narrative that the league wants to spin. Listen,
okay.
I mean, there's a lot of people want to make that out to be. Obviously, they're not that far away from us, and we're not thrilled they're there. I mean, we used to play downtown. We have a lot of fans out that way. It's not that far. But it's not, at least at this point, it sure isn't a rivalry. Kind of never has been in the 15 years I've owned the team. They've played in 4 cities, and they haven't really been a factor. So, it sucked to go in there and lose to them on opening night, and the building was full. I think it was full with our fans. Just in reality, I mean, we have a lot of fans out that way, and a lot of fans from here making their way out there. They're new, so they don't really have that fan base yet. Is what it is. It's one game in a long season. We felt like we played pretty well. A lot of things we were encouraged about that. It's lacrosse. We came out on the wrong side of a 1-goal game. So, it just, like Chal said earlier, I mean, we'll get our first win in front of our home crowd in our building, and that'll be extra sweet. So,
You don't like to lose on the season opener, and the home opener victory will be mighty sweet. But again, a little bit about that game. I mean, hey, you lost by 1 goal. I mean, it wasn't like a blowout situation. I don't care who you're playing. So obviously, there's something there with this squad.
Absolutely. Like Jamie kind of said there's a lot of things to be happy about, and that are encouraging going forward. You look at all the opportunity that the young guys have in front of them, and in ways pressure that the outside could be putting on them, but at the same time they feel more pressure from within than they do from the outside, and just to kind of see them go in and feel comfortable and play their own kind of role to great. Played great to themselves. Sorry. It was great to see, and our team as a whole. We've played a lot of worse games in the past and found ways to win. And with that game, there's a lot of things that I think we did well. And to be honest, we hit a lot of posts. Not to make excuses, we played good. We played well enough to win, and it just didn't go our way that night. But there's a lot of things that you can obviously look into and get better at, and that's our goal, especially with the bye weekend this weekend. Getting your individual work in to be at our best in front of our home fans.
I know the focus is always on yourselves, but if I can throw this out to both of you guys, who were the teams to beat? I mean, obviously you look at the talent, you look at the rosters, and there's certain expectations and prognostications that happen in this league and every league.
Well, I mean, for me, it's real simple. Buffalo is at the top of that list. They've won 3 championships in a row, and I know they got a couple roster changes this year, but to me, they're right at the top of the list. And I'd throw Sask in there, who was in the final versus Buffalo last year with a pretty good young team. And you want me to throw one more in? I'll throw Vancouver in there, who
really
made a deal last year for Del Bianco, a guy Chal's very familiar with, the goalie, and they didn't lose in the regular season after that deal, and lost obviously in the playoffs. But I would say Buffalo, Sask, and Vancouver, would probably be your 3 kind of favorites, let's say.
Mm-hmm. Online on that?
Yeah. I mean, when a team's won 3 championships in a row, they're kind of the team to beat at this point. And I'd say the exact same. Sask brings back a roster of a lot of the same guys, and then Vancouver's made a lot of changes in the off season. And with Delb's he's high class goalie in this league, and like Jamie said, I think they were 6-0 when he joined the roster. So, I mean, in this league too, there's so much parity, and you don't show up one night, you'll get killed. So it's really just kind of comes down to that game by game kind of scenario. And but I mean, those 3 are pretty in line.
I hate going to the well with the Buffalo thing, but I have to because, you said they're 3-time champion and they're just down the road, and this has been a rivalry that's gone on for years. I understand Jamie's perspective here, but and what people need to know too is the NLL is an interesting league because so many players have either come up together through junior or the midget programs. These guys, they're not guys from playing from far away. So when you get on the floor for matches like these, how heated is it?
Yeah, to be honest, when I first joined the Rock organization, you hear about the kind of rich history and tradition between the 2 teams and the rivalry that's there. And, the first game, I was like, I don't like these guys. They're a rival. But after the first game, you really feel it. And it doesn't matter whether you grew up with them, you've known them for your whole life. They're wearing the Buffalo jersey, we're wearing the Toronto jersey. It's the hatred comes out for sure, and especially with the sport of lacrosse, a lot of guys do play together growing up, and in the off season in the summer league, there's guys playing together from both teams, and whether that's field or indoor, so it's kind of weird in that aspect, but when that game happens, it's friends are off, and it's just it's fun. It's a fun rivalry to be a part of.
Well, let's get them on top this year. Let's end on this, guys. The home opener is just a week away. The opportunity to have a bye week after week number 1, so I'm sure there's a lot of fine-tuning that's going on. But, Jamie, let's start here. Your home opener, new building, bringing back your fan base. How pumped up are you for this?
Yeah, I was super pumped up. It's going to be an exciting night. We get to show off the building, show off the new team, which we're excited about. All these high picks and I haven't seen the building, since construction stage. So I'm excited about it. I can't wait to see it. So we're hoping to get a big crowd in there to support the team, and that's obviously huge, and I'm sure we will, and I think the chance to come down and see the new building is just an added bonus for everyone, around there. So super exciting times for us. We can't wait, and looking forward to it.
I'm sure on a business side, it's probably pretty easy to sell, hey, come see our new joint.
Sure, it doesn't hurt. I mean, that is one thing. I mean, if people don't go to concerts, which is primarily what that building is going to be used for, you might not get in there to see too many things. There's something about checking out a new building, and when you were talking about it earlier, when it smells good and all these things, it's gonna, yes, we'll know where things were before, and so, but it's gonna look and feel like a brand new building, and to me that's exciting. And the longer you wait to get down there, the less new it is. So no time like the now.
And The Rock, let's be honest, I don't know if I've seen a fan base that is so committed to a team. It's very Ticat-like, I would say. That just win or lose, they're showing up, and that's got to be amazing for you guys when you guys step up on the floor.
Yeah, it's the best feeling ever, and like we kind of discussed earlier, just building that fan base, and we call them Rock City. That's kind of our fandom, and it's great. It's special. When we're not playing at our best, they're encouraging us. They're loud and they're getting rowdy, and that just adds fuel to our fire. And obviously, when we're playing well, it's great to kind of show our support in a way to them. And I remember doing an autograph session, and there's some people that went through the line, and they're like, "Oh, this was our first game. Like, this was amazing. We're gonna get season tickets next year." And that's really the big thing, I think, with our sport. You just have to come once, and you're going to fall in love with the atmosphere. You're going to fall in love with the action. It's fast paced. There's a lot of goals. There's a lot of big hits. There's the occasional fights that we have two of the best, heavyweights, I would say, in the game. And
are you hearing that, teams?
But yeah, I mean, Rock City really brings the energy every single night, and it's special to play in front of them.
Who loves coming down is your boy Simone. I got to know him a little bit over the last couple of years, coming to a few games, and then working with, he's involved in the Smile Zone charity that I'm involved in, and so I've gotten to know him, and he loves coming down and has a great time down there. And obviously, no one supports Hamilton things more than him. So maybe we'll see him down there at the opener.
I'm sure you will. You'll certainly see me there. I've always said this, even getting back to my first media jobs, as being the media guy for the Bay Area Bengals at the time, and the Burlington Chiefs, that I would tell anyone that lacrosse is the most, I hate to use this word, but I will, it is the most underrated sport that we have. And it is what you said there, Challen. It's so, I don't care if you go to a junior game, a professional game, you go once and you'll go, these athletes are unbelievable. In terms of their hand-eye coordination, their ability their pace, their athleticism, their up and down, their fitness level to play this game is at a very, very high level. I'm looking forward to, and I'll on basis of Hamilton being the Hamilton sports guy, congratulations. Great to have you guys back. I like to use the word, the building is going to rock.
Yeah.
And let's beat Buffalo this time, right?
We got it. Yeah, we'll take care of it this time.
Jamie, Challen, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
All right, guys. That's your Sportsline podcast for the day. And if you've just seen and heard, we love talking sports. If you do know of an athlete, team, or event to promote, the Sportsline podcast, do want to hear from you. Please hit that thumbs up, like, and subscribe button if you have something to say. Always like your comments and your questions, too. For the outstanding people that make the Sportsline podcast possible, thank you so very much. And we will see you real soon.